All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're not just going to talk about Machiavelli. We are going to crack his code, specifically for the CSS exam. We're breaking down his ideas on power and politics with just one thing in mind, helping you write those high-scoring answers.
Okay, let's start with this quote because, really, this is the key to everything. This one sentence is Machiavelli throwing down the gauntlet to every political philosopher who came before him. What he's saying is, forget how the world should be, look at it for what it is. This right here is realism, and it's the #1 theme you need to hit hard in your answers. He's basically taking politics out of the clouds of ideal moral philosophy and planting it firmly on the ground.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll nail down his core idea to build a solid foundation. Then, we'll get into the nitty-gritty of the prince, his playbook for power. From there, we'll connect it to the real world to show why it still matters. And then we'll critically analyze it, which is where you show your depth. And we'll finish up with the most important part, exactly how to use all of this to crush it in the exam.
First up, his core idea, and just as important, the world that created him. See, to really get what Machiavelli was on about, you have to understand the absolute chaos he was trying to fix. Getting this context right is your first step to a top-tier analysis.
If you boil Machiavelli down to one concept, it's this: raison d'etat, which just means reason of state. It's a simple but brutal idea. The state's survival is the supreme goal, period. Everything else, and I mean everything, including traditional morality, has to take a back seat. The state comes first. This was his answer to the political nightmare he was living through.
Now this slide shows you just how revolutionary his thinking was. He's coming out of this medieval world, where God and the afterlife are the center of everything, but Machiavelli, he's a man of the Renaissance. He yanks politics down to earth, focusing on the here and now, on what people actually do, not what some holy book says they should do. This is a huge deal. He's arguably the first modern political thinker because he separated politics from religion.
And here's why he was so radical. Just look at the mess he was living in. Italy was completely broken. It was carved up into 5 warring states. The Pope was acting more like a warlord than a spiritual leader, and foreign armies were constantly marching through. His writing isn't some academic exercise. It's an urgent, desperate plan to save his country from falling apart completely.
Okay, let's move on to section 2, the prince's playbook. This is where we get into the how. We're going to look at the actual mechanics of his theory, the specific advice and arguments you need to know for the exam.
So he lays out this very clear step-by-step game plan. Number 1, the ultimate goal, unify the state. To do that, you first have to get power, and you do whatever it takes. This requires you to understand what he saw as a fundamental truth. Human beings are selfish. Once you accept that, you can build a loyal army of your own citizens, not paid thugs, and then you have to be bold enough to act decisively and shape your own luck, or what he called fortune.
And this is one of his most brilliant metaphors. You have to be both the fox and the lion. See, the lion is strong, it can scare away the wolves, your enemies. But the lion is also kind of dumb, it can't see a trap. That's where the fox comes in. The fox is cunning, it recognizes the traps. A great leader can't just be one or the other. They have to know when to use brute force and when to use crafty intelligence.
Now this slide gets to the heart of what we call Machiavellianism. He creates this split between private morality and public necessity. He famously says it's better to be feared than loved, because fear is just more reliable. But the trick is, you have to look like you're a good person. Appear merciful, faithful, and religious. But be ready to be the exact opposite if the state needs it. The one thing you can't afford is to be hated. So don't mess with people's property or their women, because that kind of hatred is a fire you can't control.
All right, section 3. This is where we connect the dots. Let's see how these 500-year-old ideas are still playing out right now, from his city of Florence all the way to modern Islamabad. This is key for your CSS paper.
His ideas are everywhere. That whole school of thought in international relations called realism, that's pretty much pure Machiavelli. The idea that states act in their own self-interest above all else. And for your exam, you absolutely have to bring it home to Pakistan. You can use his work to talk about the tough challenges of national unity, the tension between state authority and other loyalties, or even to analyze the times when the state has had to use force to maintain stability.
Okay, listen up because this next section is absolutely crucial. This is where you go from a good answer to a great one. We're talking about critical analysis. The examiner doesn't just want a summary. They want to see you weigh the pros and cons and build a sophisticated argument.
Think of this table as your toolkit for building that argument. On one hand, you have to give him credit.
His realism was groundbreaking. He was pragmatic. He was a true patriot. But on the other hand, you have to point out the weaknesses. His view of human nature is incredibly dark and pessimistic. You could argue he has a moral blind spot, completely ignoring concepts like justice and rights. A top-scoring answer will skillfully navigate both sides, showing the examiner you can think critically.
All right, let's bring it all home. Section 5. This is the most practical part. Let's put ourselves in the examiner's shoes and figure out exactly how to convert everything we've talked about into the highest possible marks.
So, why do examiners love asking about this guy year after year? It's simple, really. He is the ultimate test case for the classic, eternal conflict between power and morality. They want to see how you analyze that fundamental tension. Can you grapple with the tough questions about what's effective versus what's right?
Think of this slide as your cheat sheet. When a question comes up about the state, bang, you use Machiavelli to talk about sovereignty. If it's about power, you contrast his realism with someone like Plato's idealism. If it's about justice, you pit his raison d'etat against the idea of universal rights. And of course, for any Pakistan-specific question, you can apply his ideas to the real-world challenges of building and securing the state.
And here's a simple but incredibly powerful tip. Don't just say Machiavelli wrote. Name the books, The Prince, and his other great work, The Discourses on Livy. Mentioning both shows you have a deeper understanding, that you know he wrote one book for princes grabbing power and another for how to run a stable republic. It adds a ton of academic weight to your answer.
So, we end with the big one. For the sake of the state, must a leader abandon morality? This is the question that haunts political philosophy, and it's just as raw and relevant today as it was 500 years ago. This is the question you need to be ready to tackle head-on in your exam. Machiavelli gave his answer. Now, what's